Good morning. Well, I haven't been on this Browning in a couple of weeks because I went to a couple of wild game dinners here and there and used this as my exhibit. So it's a cold morning in February here in Tennessee, and got me a fire going in my wood stove there, and got this corner of my shop warmed up pretty nicely. So I'm going to get back on this before the owner wonders if I forgot about him. So I've got one layer, one scratch going both directions, and I'm going to go back to the first direction and I'm going to start deepening. Got to get my cheater glasses on. When I'm laying out my first cut, I use a triple cutter, and I will lay it in two grooves and then use the third groove to cut a new line. But when I'm deepening, I use a double cutter. I don't know why it is. I'm sure there's some physics involved in it somehow. But a triple cutter, when you're deepening, will tend to gain or lose ground, and pretty soon you're not back in the groove that you thought you were in. You're starting to creep a little, and I don't know why that is. I've tried many times to keep tension on it this way or that way and make it work, but I've never figured out a way to make a triple. You'd think a triple would ride more evenly and take an average of those grooves. It doesn't. Somehow or another, it just doesn't. So I use a double. And it seems to work better. It keeps the grooves in the same place that they used to be in. Alright, I'm going to try to show you the real nitty-gritty of checkering. I started with the lines that are going this direction. First cut. Second cut, this direction. So now I'm coming back on my second cut the way I went the first time. You can see where my cut is. See how much deeper this side is than this side? And if you keep these lines straight and these lines straight, there's a row of diamonds that go this way. And if the other two lines are straight, that row of diamonds will be straight. And they are really touchy. And they'll be straight all the way as it rolls all the way around to the other side. And you can get off just a little bit, and those dudes get out of whack. And they're a lot prettier when they're in whack. Now these points, like right here and here, they tend to disrupt your cuts. They tend to mess you up as you're making your cuts, and they'll upset this little row of diamonds going straight across. And when you get over here on this side of the point, you'll notice sometimes that these diamonds going across will get disrupted. It's real easy to do, and it's really, really hard to make them be straight where there's a point involved. I don't know why. I just know that's a trouble spot. It's really, really difficult to keep those diamonds in line. But you can see where I have gotten to. It's pretty obvious when you see it close up. I mean, right there is where my last cut was, and I'm going that direction. And then, like I said before, the overruns, running over on your borders, is really, really easy to do, especially where those lines appear really short. It's hard to stop right there and there. And so, actually right there is an overrun where my pencil point is. See that overrun? Now this is going to have a triple border. There's a border coming on the outside of this. It's going to be 3 lines wide going that way and around that way. So that border is going to cover up a multitude of sins. Notice I didn't go completely out to this point. Right there is where I'm going to stop. When this line here comes all the way down to the end and meets this top edge, it's going to stop at that dot. But I didn't cut those because I'll do those with a chisel. They're too small. Can't get my cutter tool in there. Same thing here. See, I got a border line right there that's going to make a triple border. This area, this distance from the metal to here, this open area, is going to get smaller. It's going to reduce by about a third when I put that border. The border will take up about a third of that. So that's the ins and outs of it. I'm going to put this back on the stand, and you can see the progress I make, but I'll probably fast forward it to spare you all the mind-numbing hours it takes to do this, and it is hours. It's many hours. To do that job right there from start to finish and not move will take you a day and a half. And so, yeah, it's a fun way to make $3 an hour.